Hello everyone, I am CoolGuy, and weapon tuning for the Rise of Iron, the patch notes just came out. It's patch 2.4.0, so let's talk about them a little bit. To be honest, I haven't even read through them. I don't know what's in there. We're going to read through it as we go, and we're going to talk first impressions. We just have some gameplay in the background, so hopefully that's all good. Now first up we have Exotics, the Fabian strategy, and to be honest, I've never shot this weapon. I've seen reviews, I know friends that have it, and they said it's not that good, so it really didn't warrant for me going out and getting it. Now, these are the things that they've changed. Kills with this weapon will now automatically load a portion of the magazine. They increased the base range by 16% and stability by 44%. That's pretty hefty, especially when you're talking about PvE and PvP, mostly PvE. If you're going to kill something, get some of that magazine back, and have already increased range and stability, it could be a decent perk. We're going to have to actually see how that rolls out. We can talk about it in the comments. Next up, Thorn. They start going over some of its strengths, so we know what they are. Damage over time. You can see people behind walls because of that ticking health, that burn. They are the fastest firing hand cannons, and also it has the best effective range with Send It. We know how important Send It is. Send It is the way on the bad juju as well. So to counter some of that, they took something away. They've actually reduced the range by 25%. Now, the range is still going to be pretty decent on Thorn, and it's still going to have a place. Now, they tried to meet halfway with this weapon. They have to, kind of change it as they go forward. When you see that Send It bar on the Thorn right now, it's pretty big. So, I'm okay with that. We'll just see how it all works out. Universal Remote, you guys know you've seen it a lot lately, and what they've done is the exotic perk for the range bonus has been reduced by 75%. That's almost cut in half, guys. And that no longer guarantees that maximum shotgun range, and they've increased the rate of fire. So that lower damage is a secondary effect. Now, when Destiny first came out, nobody used this thing. This was actually my first exotic in the game, the Universal Remote, and I tried using it, and you could use the Comedian that had Field Scout, had its 7 in the magazine, outranged it. There was no reason. Well, over the past couple years, as everything's been getting nerfed, the Universal Remote, since it hasn't been changed, it's really starting to show. You can effectively kill a lot of people coming at you with it because its range is so far, and shotguns aren't really in a good place aside from this one, so it's a good thing that they changed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Next up, the Dreg's Potato, the Promise. I'd like to see more of this thing, man. It's a fun little gun. They've increased the damage by 8% and the magazine by 3%. Next up, Touch of Malice. The Touch of Malice's self-inflicting damage now removes Blessing of Light, which is pretty big. It was pretty strong and OP with it in PvE, and if you ever had the fortunate chance of using it in PvP, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's just a little change. They kind of want you to have that feeling when you're shooting that gun, I guess. Then we have the Boolean Gemini, low-key one of my favorite weapons in the game, and there's a good reason for it. They've added intrinsic high-caliber rounds, kind of like the Mida used to have. Now, I have a couple builds for this thing, and I plan on getting a video out, hopefully with Planet Destiny, before Rise of Iron comes out. And this thing has a lot going for it, guys. One of the main things is aggressive ballistics. The only downfall to this weapon is its sights. They're kind of funky. But there's a couple ways you can set this thing up to make it brutal. Now, adding high-caliber rounds to it really makes it a game changer, because you have to think in high-level activities, this thing's doing 64 to the head in regular because of aggressive ballistics. If you're max light level in, like, let's say Iron Banner, or we'll even go with Trials of Osiris, somebody that's low level, that 64 is turning to something like 67, 68. You can inflict a lot of damage with this thing, so really excited to get in the Crucible with this. Next up, no time to explain, they've added Intrinsic Headseeker, which, low-key, again, really good gun in this game. You get headshots, you get magazine back. It's a really good PvE weapon, and just because of Headseeker, to kind of keep the damage constant, it's a good change. Let me know what you guys think about these two. They're on the lower key right now in Destiny, the Gemini and the No Time to Explain. This should bring them up a little bit. Let me know what you think. Sniper rifles. Destiny is ever-changing, and we knew something like this was going to happen, so they start talking about some of the strengths. Good magazine size, high impact, strong damage per second. They have strong target acquisition, and you combine that with hidden hand, it's really brutal. That kind of setup was supposed to be for these lower impact sniper rifles like the Whaler's March. And you have the ability to take out a Guardian when they're in their full super. So these Sunbreakers, these Stormcallers, the game's about to change, guys. So we're going to continue going through this. And also high body shot damage. You also had a good rate of fire that you could really two-tap people. Now, to do it with the Whaler's March, you do 200 damage. It doesn't kill high-level Guardians, but with these 1Ks, and I've always said, the way that these snipers and these shotguns are kind of made, there's no real reason to use anything else. So they're kind of changing that a little bit. But let's go a little bit further. So they're talking about this 1K family, this 1,000 yard, this longbow, on how there's no real drawbacks. So they've reduced the damage on this archetype by 6.95%, which I have no idea where they got that. It might be frame rounding, but these high impact sniper rifles can no longer reliably kill high armor guardians and their super. So these, we're mainly talking about these warlocks, and we're talking about these titans. No Land Beyond is not affected by this damage reduction, and reduced target acquisition for the LDR and the longbow to bring in line with other sniper rifles in the same archetype. As a result, and it makes a lot of sense, the slow firing family, which we'll see more in Rise of Iron more than likely, we're talking about the Black Spindle. High impact should be your key to take down these supers. It's balanced by the fact that it has a low magazine, a low rate of fire, and a low aim assist, so really looking forward to it. Another big thing is flinch, or aim deflection. They use aim deflection a lot, but I'm going to use flinch. So, they increase the starting strength for flinch when players take damage while scoped in, from 30% to 50%. They want to have your primary weapon have a better shot of contesting sniper rifles, which nobody has ever disagreed with. So let's keep on going. So with each hit that you get from your primary weapon or weapon, the strength of that flinch increases from 50% all the way up until you hit 100%, max flinch. The sniping aim down sights aim deflection or flinch multiplier has increased from 1.9 and it was 1.85. The main thing there is I hope that it's balanced to the fact that it is not necessarily by hits but by damage dealt, because a Doctrine will immediately just pop you. You're done. Whereas a scout rifle that shoots like a Cole Advance, say it goes 50 to 70 to 80 to 100. Hopefully you guys see where I'm going with that. Maybe it might be pure hits, so auto rifles might become really strong no matter what range. We'll just have to see how it all plays out. Auto rifles, and here's a little tidbit I want to talk about a little bit. They started doing some play testing with Rise of Iron. They found that players weren't really reloading because with these high rate of fires, it's true. They had enough bullets for multiple encounters, and it's something that I've always thought. So you have a hand cannon, and once you shoot all your shots, there's a long reload. You have vulnerability there. You have to kind of make time. You have to get behind cover to get the reload in. Well, when you have 50 bullets, you shoot 50 bullets downstream, you do some damage, you reload in a second, you keep going. That's an issue. So they're changing it a little bit. They go on by saying that middle rate of fire autos received a small damage boost. So the end result, reduce the maximum magazine for the highest auto rifles. All weapons in the Doctrine of Passing family. So that's something I've always thought. Now here's another one. They've increased the damage of the middle rate of fire auto rifles by 1.5%. The Righteous 7 will rise, ladies and gentlemen. The Zerenia D, the 41, all these guns that I love, they're going to be the real deal, I promise you. So shotguns, they changed them a little bit, and just like I said before previously in the commentary, there's never been a reason not to use high impact. The reason being, they couldn't kill off revive, they can't kill people out of supers. There's no incentive to use them. They don't have the range on these shotguns. They don't have the impact. So they've increased high rate of fire and middle low rate of fire shotguns damages by 2%. We'll see if that helps. Probably not. Let's be real here. We'll see as it goes. Pulse rifles. They've increased the rate of fire for the Hawkeye Pulse Rifle Lumina D. Minor increase 2% to damage for middle rate of fire family pulse rifles like the Nerwin's Mercy. Which that's pretty good. I've always liked that Nerwin's Mercy archetype. We'll see how much 2% really adds. It might get up. Well, you know what? Let's talk about the Red Death. That's automatically what comes to mind. Let's see where the Red Death sits on that. So 2%, it might do 31 or 32 now. I believe now it does 30. So we'll see as it goes. Sidearms. They feel that the sidearms are being underutilized. So with 2.4.0, they want to change that, pushing sidearms on us for them to shoot faster, further, and more predictably. They've increased damage for existing Hawkeye sidearm families by 3% for the lowest rate of fire and 7% for the highest rate of fire. They've decreased damage for non-hit scan sidearms by 5%, so the Queen's Choice to Vessian Dynasty, that kind of sucks. Minor extension of damage drop-off for sidearms across the board, 0.5 meters. Minor increase of stability for sidearms across the board. They've added damage bonuses in PvE, 20 to 30% depending on the combatant tier. And to accommodate for 2 new faster-firing sidearm families releasing in the Rise of Iron, 2 new archetypes, all current sidearms rate of fire bars are going to be slightly lowered and shorter. And this is so that they have more bar space to display that rate of fire effectively on the new weapons. And it does not change the actual rate of fire, just the stat bar representation. Rocket launchers, they've increased the effective range on the explosions for the cluster bomb perk, and grenades and horseshoes has been nerfed again. Blast radius, and the truth is unaffected by that change. Machine guns, increased damage on the high rate of fire machine guns by 4%, which is kind of funny because no one really uses them. Not necessarily because they're damaged, it's because you can't control them. Something like counterbalance, I feel that if they want to push these machine guns, they need to add better base stability. Let's talk about it. Tell me what you guys think. Hand cannons, fix an issue with the Taken King Vanguard and Arms Day hand cannons down in Doubt and Kumagatok. The stats were showed incorrectly. Now, I'm kind of disappointed. I didn't see anything there about bloom being reduced or the accuracy being coming back to hand cannons. It looks like we're going to have to go into Rise of Iron looking for range on our hand cannons because that's what we need right now for them to hit crispy. It's kind of disappointing. So fusion rifles, again, small fixes. It says you can stop making them a joke now, which I'm a big advocate for fusion rifles, guys. You know that. Accelerated coils correctly reflects damage reduction on the UI stat bar. No change to gameplay effect. It's in the UI only. And fix an issue with the Tachyon Rage displayed incorrectly. Some of the stat bars, they have been fixed. Perks, they changed some of those bottom tier perks. Take a knee. Now activates after 0.5 seconds of crouching, and an added flinch reduction of 25% and increased aim down sight speed of 25%. Exhumed, they added an extra they added an extra 5 seconds, so 15 total seconds of effective time. Again, still a situational perk. Cascade, a functional change. Melee kills automatically reload a portion of the magazine, so regardless. Surplus now increases carried ammo capacity. That could be pretty huge. Grave Robber, increased activation chance to 25%, was 20. Guerrilla Fighter, the best perk in the game. So they've increased stability and range bonuses by 200%. As they said, think of it as a bonus hammer forged and perfect balance when the perk activates. So again, you gotta have to find the cover. Magazine perks. Magazine perks now give range bonuses. Okay, so removed impact stat bonuses that had no effect on base damage, only on the UI. Armor-piercing rounds add +4 to range, reduces handling, so aim down sights by -4. High-caliber rounds add 3 to range and reduces -5 to aim down sight stat. Skip rounds adds 5 range and reduces -3 to handling or aim down sights, but adds +5 inventory. Unflinching, decreased efficacy of the perk from 25% flinch reduction to 15% flinch reduction. I'm not really sure why they changed that. If anything, I wish that they would have buffed it a little bit. Tell me what you guys think. And last, we have Firefly, a possible fix for the crash related to special effects triggered by the Firefly perk. Now, we can only hope. I personally never had this happen to me, but I know a couple guys, it happens a lot. So hopefully they did fix it. So there you guys have it. There's the full list and my first impression for it. So maybe next week or the week after, we'll talk about this a little bit more. We're going to see how it changed in-game and how it's effectively going to change the Crucible. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.